Hey everybody, welcome to my tutorial for Don't Starve. Today we're going to be playing through day one, giving you some basic strategy and tips on how to survive and think long term and see how many days you can go before you meet your end. Today we're going to be starting with Wilson, the standard character for the game. And I'm going to walk you through basically what I think of, what I'm doing, and some things to think about as you go forward. I'm going to try and post a video each day as I go through the different days in Wilson's probably short but interesting life. Now the game randomly generates each time you start, and sometimes the land may be completely unforgiving and awful. I have no problem with starting again at that point. I don't want to start off with a problem immediately because I'm resource poor. Most of the time, though, it's fine as it is. So I'm going to collect sticks and grasses, basically anything. This is nice. Here's a skeleton, dead person, effectively. And sometimes they'll leave some great things on the ground. In this case, it looks like our rabbit trap has been left. So I'm going to pick that up. I'm not really going to worry about rabbits at the moment. We'll talk about those the next day. Our major concerns right now are getting flint, grass, and sticks. We need to make an axe because we need to get some wood before nighttime. Now, well, we'll pick up flowers and discuss that for why. Also, we won't kill any butterflies yet. We'll talk about that another day. I'm going to try and take things a little slowly here so you understand why we're doing each of the things we're doing. But basically, you want to collect everything you can. We do have to have a fire before nighttime or we will die. My major concern right now is not starvation. We wouldn't starve for a couple days as it is, but I'll go ahead and pick up carrots and things like that as I pass them. The grasses and the saplings will regenerate. The carrots, I don't know that they regrow in the same places each time, so I tend to grab them. Mushrooms are hidden until certain times, like first thing in the morning or only during the evening hours. Now, also, if you just hit the space bar, directly what's in front of Wilson is what he will interact with. So you don't necessarily have to click on everything and then keep clicking to walk. You can also hold down your left mouse button and drag on the ground, and he'll walk wherever you're the direction toward your mouse pointer. I'm not being overly picky about grabbing every grass or every stick. I'm kind of trying to get a bearing of my land. I want to try and explore as much as possible and make some sort of just a guess as to what my area looks like. Now, certain areas are more hospitable than others. I do tend to like to follow the edge of the water, as the land is a giant island or a group of islands. Berries, those are good. Now eventually we're going to start digging up these berry bushes and carrying them around with us. But we're not going to do that yet. We're not going to worry about that for a few days. Bees and beehives, leave those alone for now. We're not going to interact with those at all. They won't bother you as long as you don't bother them. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll accidentally click on a bee when it's on the ground, not knowing that I thought I was clicking on a flower. That could be bad. You walk a lot faster on paths than you will if you're just in the grass. Now we do have a stone up here, and I am going to take time to go get that. So under tools, it shows here that I need another flint, and actually it's much more important that I have an axe first. So I'm going to make my axe. Kind of not having a lot of luck finding flint, which is going to be required here for making any of the tools we need. The method for experience has changed in the game, which I much prefer. Basically, you can tell what you need based on the resources. Once you click on a tool, it'll tell you what you need. Look at the tool right here. We need 2 flint and some twigs. Now, dusk is coming. We still have quite a few minutes here before we have to really worry about having our camp for the night. There's some flint. Stones I like to collect when I find them because there's usually in areas where I really don't need to ever come back to them. A lot of the rockier areas of the game don't have any other resources, so we tend to want to stay in the forest. Now, trees, you see the size by the trunk, the height of the trunk. This one you can still see some of the trunk, and this one, the pine is going all the way to the ground. Those are the trees we want to chop down to give the most wood and to give 2 pine cones. And we can use the pine cones to plant our own trees later. Once we set up our permanent camper, somewhat permanent camp, we can plant trees in strategic locations around us. We don't want to plant them too close together though, because there are the living trees, like the treants from Lord of the Rings, that will spawn in heavily wooded areas. So we want to kind of spread them out. Again, we'll worry about that another day. But I do want to tell you what is going on in my mind here as I am picking up my resources. More flint. And if you hit your tab, you can go and you can see your map. I want to get back to that stone. That's really something I want to handle before I leave this area of the map. So there's nothing really over here for me aside from this stone. So I might as well go ahead and make my campfire. Actually, I'm going to wait on that. There's no reason to make it so early and then have to feed it. So just by clicking on tools and then clicking on what it is I want to make, I made my pickaxe. I can find it down here, right click on it, and then go. And I just hold down my mouse button on the stone. You can also hold down spacebar like I am now, and you'll pick up everything in the immediate vicinity. Now, I did see a mushroom over here. There it is. So I got to get my campfire made before dark. If you wait until dark, you're screwed. So I like to do that, and then you can add some pine cones. You can add grass, you can add twigs, you can add most of the things you think would burn. If you click on it, the campfire will tell you the level of fire it is. There's a flower. Now I can continue to work in the area around the fire without a problem. If you go into the dark for too long, he'll say something before it becomes an issue. Okay, so this mushroom is a red one. And it'll probably pop up, say, early in the morning. Now, some things we can do while we're sitting at the fire here. I can take my berries and I can left-click over the fire and it will cook them. And then I can right-click on them. And they give you a lot more health than they would if you just ate them raw. Same with the carrots. Now, I'm going to cook all my food. Actually, I'll cook 3 of them. Because that's there. That'll give me just about 100%. And I'll wait there. So not really much you can do in the evening hours here other than cook your food, organize your supplies, and so on. Usually I like to put my campfire in a place where I can do some immediate work, like chop down some trees, mine some stones, do things like that, or wait for mushrooms and other things. Mushrooms you can use for cooking later on in your crock pot, where you can combine up to 4 different ingredients. Again, we'll do that later. For now, though, something to keep track of where they are. I'm just going to pick one here as an example. I really don't eat them because the different mushrooms oftentimes hurt your health or hurt your sanity, which is this counter here. Sanity becomes critical later on, and I have died from sanity more often than anything else, actually. Okay, it is morning, and there's my mushroom. Seeds are important. You need to pick them up every time you can find them. Birds tend to drop them. And we're going to use them. We can toast them, but we'll need them later when we make gardens and so on. So that's basically what day 1 looks and smells like here in the land of Don't Starve. I'm going to pause the game here in a moment, and we'll pick this up next video. But just wanted to kind of give you the day, first day, and what you kind of need to be doing, how to survive. We're looking great right now. We are not hungry at all. We have tons of resources. We have lots of food. We have everything we pretty much need. All we got to worry about now is finding a place to make our permanent camp. What we need for that to happen is we're looking for beefalo, large fields, usually the grassy fields. We're looking for spiders, which we need for webs, which are a lot of the advanced items use the spider webs. And And then we'll worry about bees and other things. But really the beefalo are the critical things. So until I find those, I'm kind of going to live the nomadic lifestyle and wander around the map until I can locate those. Continue picking up flowers. We almost have enough to make, you know, maybe that's where I'll stop it. We'll make our fancy headgear here before we're done. You can kill the butterflies. If you kill them, they heal you, but only slightly. Okay, so every time you hear that sound, it means that you have something you can make, and we can make our garland. Ta-da! Now our garland will help with our sanity, and really that becomes an issue later on in the game, unless you bother making a straw mat each night to sleep on, which takes a lot of resources. You'll eventually go wacko, and that becomes obviously an issue. So anyway, that pretty much concludes day 1 here. I'm going to pause the game, and we'll pick this up next time. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below, and I'll try and get another video out here soon. Take care.